We're at Nordic Game here, and one of the premier speakers, I assume since you have the keynote, is Randy Pitchford from Gearbox Software. And could you just sort of say a little bit what were you talking about this morning?
Well, when I was invited to come, I said, hey, what would you guys like me to talk about? And they told me that they would be interested in hearing me talk about how the identity and image of our studio has been managed over the years. I think some people kind of find themselves in a spot losing their image to, license deals. Other people do something original and then become identified only with that single original thing. And I think our studio is a bit unique in the sense that we've been able to do games based on some awesome licenses and also create original properties and kind of have a range and spectrum there where you can't really put us on any one thing, and it gives us a lot of credibility and flexibility for for any number of different creative things we might want to pursue. And so I talked about our image and how we've managed it and cultivated it over the years, and how our different strategic decisions have been informed by those goals.
Because looking at your history, one would think easily that, you could get pigeonholed as like, they worked on Halo, they worked on Half-Life, they sort of come in when someone else has done a game and then they expand on it or do something like that, but you didn't get sort of stuck in that role. You actually went on to do your own things and other things.
Yeah, we started building the Brothers in Arms brand I think we first started development as early as 2002, and that game shipped in 2005. And by then, and it was a big hit, so people were able to see, these guys can build original games and they can build a property. And of course we really went fast at bringing more to it, making sure the game reached other platforms, bringing sequels, and so then it was these guys can build a franchise. And of course when we do it again with Borderlands, and that's even an even bigger franchise, an even bigger property, then it kind of adds a lot of credibility to our ability to create new things. And at the same time, we really cultivate not just making sequels or expansions or conversions of other people's awesome games. Like, we're only going to work on something we're passionate about, but taking even other properties. Like right now we're working on Aliens Colonial Marines, and this isn't a derivative of any other Aliens game. This is the Aliens game, with 20th Century Fox, and that's a license. That's someone else's property that has inspired us and that I've been stealing from all this time. May as well see if we can get involved with the source of that inspiration and do something great with it.
So yeah, there's I guess three big pillars that I think of when I hear Gearbox now, and there's a little bit of rumbling the other week about Brothers in Arms. What's the status on that project? Because I know it's not going to get shown at E3, but are you still working on it?
We Brothers in Arms is very important to us. Last time I mentioned something, I think, was at the Penny Arcade Expo, and I wanted to make it clear, because I think when we announced Furious 4, we kind of created some confusion, because clearly that's a departure from what people remember Brothers in Arms to be. So at the Penny Arcade Expo, I made it really clear, look, we love the authentic Brothers in Arms, and we intend to continue the series with the characters and the authentic approach, and we're going to do that. We haven't announced anything in that regard, but we've got that too. But we're also really proud of some of the gameplay fun that we're having with this other thing, and we'll see what that morphs into, and when we're ready to talk about that again, that'll be fun. But right now, our priority in terms of communication has been to talk about Borderlands 2 and Aliens Colonial Marines, and this is these are big things, so they take up a lot of mind share, and it's and I think even that's kind of tricky. Talking about one big thing is hard. Talking about two big things, that can be really that could risk some confusion. So we really want to do, these things are all very important to us, but we know that if we spread it too thin, it's not going to help any of them. So we're really wanting to focus on that.
And Speaking of that, Aliens was recently announced to be released in February, so
Yeah.
you got a little bit of space between Borderlands 2
Yeah.
and Aliens
Yeah.
now, so it's not going to come out at the exact same time, and maybe that's a good thing for you as a studio.
It's a very good thing. It means that it means a couple of things. There's a lot of fans of the studio, so it means that there's some time between these releases for our customers. From a development point of view, it means there's some time between releases for us. We do not want to compromise one bit on Aliens Colonial Marines, so it's helpful to have that space so that we can really commit to a full launch on that. And we have so many great plans. So we were looking good. We were in good shape, but I'm not going to lie. That the time that this targeted window gives us lets us make an even better game. Lets us have the opportunity to really polish things and get our effort into the launch, and that's really exciting. And of course, Borderlands 2 is coming in September, so that'll be here before you know it.
Borderlands 2, yeah, I'm very excited about that. And I think the first game was one of those games where you're like, okay, so why haven't anyone done this before? Because it's a marriage that sort of it really works. But I also get the sense that you as a developer felt like we didn't really do enough with this in the first game. It's that when a sequel really feels, when you really get, because sequels can sometimes be a little bit like, oh, we have to do a sequel because it was successful, but we don't really know what to do with it. But with Borderlands 2, it feels like you really had a lot of ideas that you wanted to realize with that. Is that correct?
I think Borderlands surprised a lot of people. Obviously, we really we really believed in our bet, and a lot of us, starting with me, knew that what's fun about looting and leveling up and choice and character growth is awesome and is not mutually exclusive with what's fun in a shooter. And to us, it felt like, man, this peanut butter tastes great and that chocolate tastes great. Let's put these things together and make a Reese's peanut butter cup, and see if we can create something new there. And of course, we were confident in it. That's why we made the bet. But I think a lot of people were really surprised from it. And when you do something that new and that risky, you learn a lot of things in the process. And ambition is always wide when you visualize something. It takes a lot more effort to realize and to create than it does to imagine. So what's neat about it is Borderlands really surprised people, and just to say it very simply, if you liked Borderlands, you're gonna love Borderlands 2. I mean, it is a whole. I mean, what's neat is we know it works, so that's there. But in terms of the depth of the experience, the width of the experience, and the quality and production value of the experience, and how big and how much of it there is, it's a whole new level. This is a whole new thing, a whole new ball of wax. So it's I can't wait. I've been playing it. We're having so much fun. I can't wait till everybody gets a shot at it.
Yeah, and I think I'll get a shot at E3. There's going to be some hands-on with it there. I understand. But if we move back a little bit, last year was also a very interesting year for you because you finally brought out Duke Nukem. And I'm just interested to hear, like, how did the whole sort of thing where Gearbox got involved with Duke, how did that come about?
That was when 3D Realms, when it became public that 3D Realms was done. That they were shutting their doors and they'd laid off the development team. That was a sad day, especially for me, because I'd moved to Texas to join 3D Realms, to join the Duke Nukem 3D team back in 1995, and Duke Nukem 3D was the last commercial product, the last Duke Nukem commercial product. We made Shadow Warrior before I'd left and started Gearbox Software, but it'd been 15 years that Alan and those guys had been working on Duke forever. We had built all of Gearbox in that time, and all of the games that we had done happened in that time. So it was really sad to hear that was the end. And I think even those of us that were kind of like standing on the sidelines, kind of laughing at that, it was kind of it felt like the end of an era. Well, I didn't like that. I thought that wasn't the right ending to the story. I think that I think the world kind of deserved to experience what they'd built, and I think that I mean, I love Duke. I wanted to spend more time with the character. I don't think you can kill Duke. You shouldn't kill Duke. Duke can't die. So, we were in a spot, we've been really successful. We're neighbors. There's a lot of people at Gearbox that at some point had worked at 3D Realms, that at some point been part of Duke Nukem. Brian Martell, one of the owners of Gearbox, and myself, we met at 3D Realms working on Duke 3D, so there's certainly a lot of history there. And so, those guys, we bought the brand, but really what happened is George and Scott sold it to us. Which means they trusted us, and that they weren't going to trust anybody with it. And the first thing we were able to do with the brand is, we got all of the guys that were on the 3D Realms team that did not go on and do other things, the guys that couldn't let go, they kept going. Even though they weren't getting paid, they didn't have a job, they kept going. Alan and David Regal and those guys, they just kept going. They were working out of David's house, and they kept working on the game. And they kept the dream alive, and all the institutional knowledge was with them. And so what we did was we made a big investment to empower them to finish, to bring some other people that can help make sure it can be a commercial release instead of a development effort. So get the game ready to launch it to the public, bring it to the consoles. The guys up at Piranha created a multiplayer game, which I had fun with. I thought it was a really fun throwback game, and holy shit, Duke Nukem Forever shipped. I mean, I swear to God, we must have the best producers in the universe, because our production team wrangled all this development effort and all the stuff that had happened over 15 years and shipped Duke Nukem Forever. That's pretty amazing, and I had a lot of fun with it. To me, it was like The Hangover or something. It's like like that movie. It's like it's just a silly, stupid laugh fest, and there's fun gameplay as well. There's a lot of cool stuff, cool weapons that you just can't get anywhere else. When you could shrink a pig that looks like a cop and you could step on him, that's a unique, one of a kind thing, So I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm really glad that it exists.
What kind of plans do you see for the Duke in the future, and do you sort of long to sort of make the sequel to Forever, or will it be something completely different?
Well, when we acquired the brand, we didn't do it just to make sure that Forever came out. The goal is, I think, we want to create. I want to create a Duke Nukem game. And we haven't announced anything there yet, but I think our approach is going to be. It's going to be. I think it's got to both have what you want from Duke, but we've got to also surprise and excite you. It's got to be something that really makes not just people that love Duke, but everybody go, wow, I got to check this game out. And I think that's one of the secrets to Gearbox's success, is we tend to find a way to do that when we build things. So I look forward to that effort, and I look forward to telling people about it. But right now, we haven't announced anything for that yet, and I think it's really too early for me to, of course we've thought about it, of course there's something, but it would be irresponsible for me to really create any expectations yet.
All right, so we're running out of time here. I hope that you have lots of plans for the Duke in the future, and it was really nice meeting you.
Oh, it's a pleasure talking, always a pleasure. Cheers.
Thank you very much.